This podcast is certified fresh. Freshmediaworks.com.
Welcome to the Montgomery ISD Athletics Show, where each week we share conversations about everything that makes MISD athletics so great. Montgomery ISD, in partnership with families and community, will graduate all students with the knowledge, skills, and leadership necessary to thrive as productive and responsible citizens. Athletics play a vital role in student success, promoting physical and mental well-being while developing essential life skills like teamwork, leadership, and resilience that benefit students far beyond high school.
With 60,000 fiber route miles across 20 states, we deliver reliable solutions. We prioritize customer service to build better relationships and a better Texas. Consolidated Communications. Let's build a better network.
All right, everybody join me in welcoming Coach James Longoria, Montgomery High School team tennis coach. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm great. You know, we've got off to a pretty good start. We started off in the summer pretty early. So, yeah, we're enjoying it, and everything's going pretty good.
Nice. Well, before we get into this season, rehash us on last season. Tell us how everything went and what your grade was for the team for the season.
You know, I think that we're just kind of continuing the trend, which is really nice because it's why I came 2 years ago, was to return the team to the playoffs. And so last season, the entire year, the fall season, we had we returned the team back to the playoffs and lost a close one to Kingwood Park, who ultimately went a few more rounds than they had the previous year. Mm-hmm. So we all the teams played up last year and it was pretty good. So we enjoyed that. And then the girls doubles team that we had in regionals, we returned to regionals in spring of 25. Mm-hmm. We gave it another crack last year, and they didn't get out of district, but our girls singles competitors, Marissa Moat and Brooke Peterson, they both got into regionals, which was nice. So it was a true testament of what we were trying to do is make everybody push everybody. And I think that proved true of Marissa and Brooke because they were both seniors. And while we would have loved Chloe and Riley to have gone back to regionals and especially since they were so close to making it to state as juniors, mm-hmm. we had another set of seniors that it was just a true testament of working hard for 4 years and ending their high school tenure with a really nice regional trip. So it's solid. It was great. It was good to have that. And we're just going to continue the same goal of just imparting it to everybody and pushing everybody. I think the one thing that sticks with all the players is we either win or learn. And that's what I always tell them that, you know, when you win, enjoy it. But when you don't win, make it a learning opportunity and learn something from it and take it into the next match.
I love it. And if you could explain, because, you know, you're talking about spring, you're talking about you're working in the summer, we're talking about fall team tennis. Explain the season and the year as it relates to tennis.
Yeah, for sure. Well, tennis, the tennis athlete will compete in 2 separate seasons. So it's really a year-long sport. So what happens is in summer, we do summer workouts. So I do a little different than some places. What I'd like to do is I like to continue at the end of the year after they've taken the finals and everybody's okay, cool, you know, and mm-hmm. teachers are still working. We still work out. We work out for about 2 weeks right at the end of school. And what those 2 weeks are is basically just a recap of everything that we needed to do during the matches throughout the entire year. And what we do is we send those kids away they go away for the summer with those goals in their mind. And so when they return in late July, it's kind of like our tryout summer workout sessions.
Yeah.
they have worked on those items, and we incorporate those into our team tennis. So fall is team tennis, where everyone plays. Most people will play singles and doubles. We have some doubles and some singles specialists where they'll only play singles or doubles. And what happens is we have 6 doubles matches, 3 girls doubles, 3 boys doubles, and then we have 12 singles matches, 6 boys singles, 6 girls singles, and then we have 1 mixed doubles, which is boy and girl co-ed.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is when we take on the teams like Consolidated and College Station and Lake Creek, we go into a match, and whoever gets to 10 first, it's a race to 10. So you want to win 10 of those 19 matches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice because what we do is we have the focus of, okay, in spring you play individual, in spring you play tournaments. So we'll have 2 girls singles, 2 boys singles, 2 girls doubles, 2 boys doubles competitors, and then 2 mixed doubles. And what will happen is those players will compete in the tournament, in the spring tournament, as individuals or as doubles partners.
Mm-hmm.
But when they come into fall, they're competing as a team. So it's very much a high-spirited atmosphere where everybody is working with everybody. Everybody's trying to make everybody better because we want to win as a team. And that'll go through. And once the state tournament is completed, we do have kind of like a pause, but we don't really like pause at school. Like we keep working because it's a year-long sport, so we can keep working and we can keep practicing. We just don't compete after the state tournament. And then that'll give us the winter break. And then once we come back from winter break, then we start up again and we start training. And everybody, I think our first tournament this year is going to be back. Our first tournament is 2 days back from the winter break. So yeah, so it's a full year of just high intensity tennis.
Nice. And talk to me about who you have returning from last year's team.
Well, it's interesting. So we lost 10 seniors, and of those 10 seniors, 9 of them were starters.
Wow.
So you lose that many, you definitely know that you're going to have players come up and play up. So we definitely have some players rising to the occasion. But what we do have is the seniors they're seniors now.
Mm-hmm.
And they definitely are the leaders, and one of the juniors, they're definitely the leaders of our team. So it's Kendall Hyde, Madeline Thompson, Ansley Bull, Sam Kotinek, Reese Finch, and Cody Stump, and they are basically they obviously they're the returners,
mm-hmm.
and they're the ones that are kind of like driving things. They're pushing people. We got Casey Gibbons and Colin Cutright, Casey Gibbons is a junior, so she was with us when she was a freshman 2 years ago, and she is returning back to us, and so she's really a high intensity player. And Colin Cutright is younger brother of Carter Cutright, who is on one of our dynamic mixed doubles teams last year that barely missed regionals. And so Colin is he's definitely coming up and pushing all the other underclassmen, the sophomores and the freshmen. And what's interesting about Colin is that he's like a third in line, because his oldest sister, his sister Camille, was on the Montgomery tennis team, and then Carter, his older brother, and now Colin. So he's the last Cutright that we have. So it's kind of like a really nice legacy thing.
Yeah.
And then the people that are coming up out of the JV squad, which is really nice, is so on our well, actually I shouldn't say JV squad. They were freshmen. Morgan Staling, and Morgan Staling she's a sophomore this year, but she was our varsity. She rounded out our varsity girls squad last year. Mm-hmm. Olivia Fagan she's a junior, but she was one of our varsity reserves. So she kind of played both ways. And so she's definitely kind of rounding out the girls' side this year, and really stepping up too. I think that the one thing that people don't realize about those go-between players, the ones that they can play top JV or they can play lower varsity, is when they get put into situations to like sub, they are ready for it, but they sometimes like don't expect it. Like it's a situation where they've got to really just kind of change gears quickly. And so Olivia was really good at that and last year. So it's nice to have her on the varsity squad. And then on the men's side, so all of the guys that are super competitive, in fact, right now, they're all very like competitive with each other. We have a freshman, Ian Garris, who's a high performer, and he's kind of driving that whole engine of new talent. And then from there, we have Oliver Riddell, Ethan Cady, Branson Newman, Hayes Welsh, Skylar Shack, Brady Shaw, Cash Briskin. They're all players that can just like push each other. That's what's nice about this. It's kind of a good problem to have because it's almost like there's too many, but because there's so many that can play within each other and can push each other, that it's going to help us really tailor the matches the way we want to. So the ones that really enjoy and are effective as doubles partners, they'll play doubles. We'll have some play singles. So it'll be real nice. It'll be good. So we're excited about it.
Nice. And if you could, back in my day, tennis was an assistant coach from the football team who'd just roll out a can of balls and you'd play. Tell me how it has evolved in terms of coaching and in terms of what the kids go through.
Well, I think the thing with because you're right, it really depends on the I guess it depends on the scope and makeup of your team.
Yeah.
Maybe not truly, but not in all cases. But so when I played, which was late 90s, we did see that a lot. But it's kind of because the tennis players, the high performing tennis athletes, like when I played in high school, but I also went to two training facilities. One was because of a friend of mine, and the other one was because the club. I was given a membership to play for that club for their club team as well. So you're getting outside training, and that's kind of why you see these situations where there would be a coach that maybe doesn't play tennis but is really focused on strength and conditioning. Sometimes you might find a soccer coach, maybe an assistant soccer that's doing tennis or something, or even like there might be a two-sport coach and. Yeah, and so they might not necessarily play tennis. I would say like our assistant coach right now, like Coach Moore, Casey Moore, she's our head softball coach. Mm-hmm. So she understands loading and moving, explosive movements. Another one that's really big from baseball and softball that transitions into tennis is, getting out of the way of the ball so you can make a play on the ball. Oh, yeah. And so she understands a lot of that. So we incorporate that. And I think the thing is these kids are super talented, but they're talented in various ways. And so as a tennis coach, you kind of have to, you can't expect everybody to play the same way. I mean, you would love for everybody to be a state champion performer and they have this certain type of forehand and this certain type of backhand. And that's the model. So everybody under them is going to play exactly like that. But that's just not the case. And I think that's the beauty of it because you get into the court and we're allowed to college coach. It's a college coaching format now, which wasn't the case in my day. In my day, we had to do it all on our own. But when we now you can get to the net post and you can talk to the player during in between points. And that's the thing is that I think the coach needs to understand that the player can win a wide variety of ways, not just one way. And when you kind of realize that and you look at the strengths and the weaknesses of each kid, then you just kind of focus on those and then try to find a way to get other players engaged so they can help each other. Because peer-to-peer is the best way. Yeah. That's hence the reason why they love just hitting with each other. But you also too need to put the instruction in there as well. So like it's good for them to hit with each other, but the instruction needs to be there so that they aren't just hitting and just like trying to pound the ball and kill each other. Right. They need to be strategic and have some composition.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you could finally, Coach, talk to me about the value of this sport, because it is a lifetime sport. It's something people can do into their 90s or 100s. Talk about the value of this sport.
Yeah, so the value of the sport, and you're right, it is a lifetime sport. I mean, I think too, sometimes this was thrown out a long time ago, that being a lifetime sport. I remember one time I went to a convention that the USCA held, and I got to talk to John McEnroe a little bit with a group of other people, and he was saying that this thing we need to drive the fact that, because everybody was saying, well, if it's a lifelong sport, how come it keeps falling on the list of most popular sports? And in the 80s it was like number 6 or 5, mm-hmm. and now in the late 90s, 2000s, it's like in the 20s now, and that's with the advent of all the other different sports, bike sports and just different things. But the one thing that resonated with me that he had mentioned was that Andre Agassi speaks a lot about this too, is that tennis is a lot like life. Mm-hmm. I think the thing I always tell my kids too is that tennis is a lot like life. You can do everything right and still not win the game, right? And you have to be able to say, okay, well, I did everything right and I still didn't win maybe this game. So we have to analyze not so much what we didn't do right, but what we could have done differently. And I think that's the thing in life where we tell, as teachers, we tell our kids, get your grades, have good grades, go to college, and you'll go to college, you'll get a degree. And if you make connections in college, you'll get an internship, and that internship will turn to a job. And then you'll have a beautiful career and whatever. But what happens when that doesn't happen? Mm-hmm. Like, what does the kid do when that doesn't happen? And I think in tennis, that's the thing, is that we try to tell, one thing I tell the kids all the time is like, you may not always be able to rise to the occasion. So sink into your habits. And if your habits are good, success will surely follow. Yeah. It just might be on a different timetable, or it might be in a different way. So tennis is a lot about, when you can make that analogy and that connection to life. I think it's one of the sports that you can take into life, and you can just play and keep playing. Hence the reason why people play it casually or even competitively in like team leagues and, mm-hmm. and country clubs and stuff, because they're for that moment in time, they're disconnecting from all the stresses of life, and then they're putting themselves in the stress and all the stresses of winning a tennis game, a tennis match, but they're doing it amongst people that are doing the same thing. They're using tennis to kind of almost as like their therapy session. Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that the kids really enjoy about our program is I tell them, like, you didn't make a mistake because you're not able. You made a mistake because you're able to make that shot. You're trying it. You just, at that moment in time, there was something that was just a little off. Mm-hmm. You don't make mistakes because you're not able. You make mistakes because you are able. You just need to keep working at it, and especially if it's during a match, it could be anything. It could be you were just an inch away from the ball or whatever. Yeah. So just keep going at it and keep moving and keep doing it, and just stick to those habits. Stick to the standards is what we say all the time. Just stick to the standards, and when they stick to those standards, the success surely does come. And I think that's the one thing that people here in Montgomery and around the district and the school, the community have seen, is that these kids have a different level of standards that they work with. And well, they've been to regionals 2 years in a row. So sorry about the bell.
No, I love it. And Coach, gosh, I want to thank you for sitting down with me, sharing a little bit about the success of the program. Best of luck this season. Once again, thank you, James Longoria.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
At the Woodlands Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, they want kids to thrive, not just in school, but in sports and in life. Pressures like anxiety, ADHD, or even the stress of competition and injuries can hold them back. That's why their team offers specialized care, including sports psychology, to help kids manage performance pressure, bounce back from setbacks, and build confidence on and off the field. They provide complimentary consultations, so call today. Call 281-528-4226 or visit addwoodlands.com because every student deserves the chance to thrive.